Now, the Russian chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov has been a political activist against Vladimir Putin's government for many years. He's a former chairman of the New York-based Human Rights Foundation, and he played an active role in the anti-Kremlin opposition protest movement when he lived in Moscow. He's now based in the US, and earlier he was talking to my colleague Yalda Hakim and told her about his dissatisfaction with the response so far that's come from the West.
No, absolutely not. The West has always been one or two steps behind. Many things that have been done now could have probably saved these lives and saved us from this horror 6 months ago. And instead of helping Ukraine, arming it, preparing for the war, and also imposing at least part of the sanctions, while US intelligence made clear that invasion was imminent, they continued these useless discussions with Putin, and Ukraine was absolutely unprepared. Now we need more. It's sanctions, fine, but it's not enough to throw Russia back in the technological stone age. We need a full blockade, technological, financial, economic, and also Ukraine needs more military help. And I understand the argument of those who are saying that no-fly zone is a huge risk of being involved in a direct war with Russia, military confrontation. But if NATO is afraid of this confrontation, how they are going to defend eastern flank of the organization? How America is going to defend Lithuania or Poland or Latvia if Russia attacks? And I don't think anybody has doubts. If Putin, God forbid, succeeds in Ukraine, bombarding this country into submission, though I think shouldn't happen, but if, then he will definitely test NATO. Any hesitation of responding militarily to Putin's new provocations will mean the end of NATO and total dominance of Russian dictator across not just former Soviet Union, but the entire Eastern Europe.
So what do you think then, that a no-fly zone should be imposed?
Absolutely. And it's already probably late. It had to be imposed earlier. And of course, Ukraine could be offered more supply, not just javelins and stingers. US and NATO, they have sophisticated weapons that could have saved Ukraine from the latest horrors. It's the helicopters, Apache, A-10, that could destroy Russian tanks. There are many options. But the problem is, we're still having US administration and European nations trying to find, if not common ground, but some sort of a compromise, and they're still talking about face-saving operation for Putin. We are witnessing war crimes on an industrial scale. It's never seen in Europe as in the World War II. And there's no indications Putin will stop. You talked a lot now in this program about humanitarian corridors, but that's another attempt to compromise Ukrainian defense system, because they're trying to actually turn these people into Russia and Belarus.
Putin and Russia has said, Putin and the Kremlin has said that the humanitarian corridors should only be towards Russia and Belarus, which the Ukrainians have said is completely immoral.
Absolutely. So that's another fake. They pretend that they care about these people, but they know that very few of them, if any, will ever accept going to Russia or Belarus. Lying is one of the main traits of Putin's character. So that's why, the moment he says something, you should assume the opposite.
Garry Kasparov talking to Yalda a little earlier.